This is the KitchensinkWP Podcast, episode 313.
I program my own computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. We have the technology. Why, hello everybody. This is Adam Server, the host of the KitchensinkWP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. We have a few. We have WordCamp Miami, February 28th through March 1st. WordCamp Prague, February 29th, one-day camp. And WordCamp Valladolid, it's in Spain, February 28th and 29th. So actually, I am going to be going to one of those. Which one will it be? So you have to show up to all three to find out. Maybe, I'm not going to tell you which one I'm going to. I am surprising people. No, I'm not really surprising. I'm just going to go to one. And yeah, so we'll see. I'll let you know how it went. And it should be fun. Looking forward to it. All right, moving on. Segment 1 in the news. A couple things here. WordPress 5.4 Beta 2 is out in the wild. If you want to help test that, you should. That'd be great. It's still in development, so don't run it on a production site. Some things that were done are the block editor, columns in the block library have been unassigned, will now grow equally. Privacy, the notice offering help when editing the privacy policy page will no longer show at the top of all pages in the admin. There's a handful of things there. 27 bugs have been fixed, etc. So check that out. It's still on schedule to be the end of March for that release as well. Also, as of this recording, actually, I guess the day this comes up, I believe, advanced custom fields, ACF, pricing has gone up. So if you missed it, I'm sorry, but you should still, if you're using custom fields or ACF, it is actually the day this comes out. I just double checked. Monday the 24th. So if you hear this after the 24th, you missed it. But the pricing is going to go up. And it's totally worth it if you're using ACF. It's a great company. Documentation is amazing. The add-ons are amazing, etc. So if you're doing custom field work, Advanced Custom Fields Pro, pricing will now be, I think it's $50 a year. So if you were grandfathered in, if you bought it when I bought it, you're grandfathered in, your price doesn't change. So there you go. What else in the news? I think that's it in the news. Yeah, that's it. Moving on. All right, segment 2, the meat potatoes of this week's show. This week, it's my current toolbox for 2020, inspired by my buddy Dustin, where he recently shared his latest toolbox. And as I also was thinking about this too, kind of at the same time, I ask my guests when I have interviews about their top 3 tools. So I thought it might be time to do the same thing, but I'm going to go with my top 9 as it's my favorite number and give you a little bit more depth in my day-to-day tools. And this will be things that are not just the services I mentioned, like, Pipedrive and Asana. Those things, actually, I do mention that one a little later. But these are the things I use on a daily basis to do my job as a business owner, developer, help desk, ticket closer, podcaster, etc. So these are the top things that I use pretty darn consistently on a day-to-day basis. So starting off with, and these are in no specific order, but they also are in some sort of order. But anyway, browser. I use Chrome, which a lot of people are leaving, but I'm just so used to it. And I've considered switching back to Firefox or even Safari, but I'm just so used to Chrome. And I know it has the Google integrations, and I get the fact that there's privacy issues. I understand, but I use it. It works for me. But not just Chrome, but I also use a handful of extensions. The 2 that I like the most, I use a lot, are wappazlzer. It tells me what the site that I'm looking at is being built with. So I just know right away if it's WordPress, Wix, Weebly, Squarespace. It's a little icon that puts it in the little dashboard there in the toolbar. I also use fireshot. Fireshot lets me export pages, full site pages, either as PDFs or PNGs or JPEGs. I use that a lot. I also use Evernote, the web clipper, so to send things to for future review, whatnot. But I use Chrome, and those are the main 2 extensions I use, and then Evernote as well. The second thing I use quite often, many times a day, is 1Password. I have the desktop version. I don't pay the subscription. I should pay the subscription because I need to get the family on it. I keep having that pop up and a reminder for me. I need to step up and do that. So I also use the 1Password extension as well over on Chrome, which I can't use on Safari right now because my version's too old. So that's a whole other situation. Anyway, so those I use 1Password. It tracks, keeps all my passwords. Every 2 weeks, I go in and change the 10 oldest passwords. I have a recurring reminder to do that. And I keep credit cards in there. I store files, certain things in there that are secure. I really do trust that service a lot. So the third thing is nVAlt, and I want to thank Alex for this one, my buddy Alex. He's a developer. This is where I go to take notes during calls. I have this consistently I'm doing this all the time now. It's just fast. It's really simple. I can search them. I keep the notes document over in Dropbox. nVAlt's amazing. I think there's a new one, nVAlt Ultra, coming out, or it's already out. I'm not sure, but I'm just going to stick with nVAlt for right now. A couple things I don't like about it. I mean, I don't like the fact that if I hit bold, it doesn't save my bold. I don't know why. Or I think it's just because it's plain text. I'm not sure exactly all the integrations there, but it does work for me. So, moving on to the number fourth thing, and these are two in this one, so you get a little bonus here. A couple of these have doubles. Automation. I'm trying to do more with automation. I use Keyboard Maestro, and I use Hazel a lot. Keyboard Maestro daily. So whenever I plug in my external display on my laptop, it moves Slack, iMessage, and my calendar to the laptop screen automatically. It senses when I plug in an external device, and if I'm running those things on my laptop and I plug in, it moves them over from the big screen to the small screen just to my left. So pretty cool. That's my favorite thing I've created there so far. I also use Hazel, and my favorite rule for Hazel most recently is when I get invitations for meetings through email, through my calendar, it's an ICS file. So I download that, it saves it to my downloads folder, and then Hazel notices that, immediately pops open that ICS folder, a file within my calendar application, which is just Apple Calendar. iCal, I guess, and it prompts me to pick a calendar to add it to my calendar. So, which is cool. That way I'm just done with it. I don't have to remember to go do it later. So right away, I say yes, add it to the calendar, pick which calendar, family, personal, or business, etc., and then I close it and I'm done. Now, I do wish Hazel part 2 of that script that I wrote would work. The goal there is to actually then, within 10 minutes, it would remove it from the downloads folder to the trash and put it into the trash, but that part's not working. I don't know why yet. I got to figure that out. All right, number 5. 2 things in this one as well, but team communications. Because I've revamped the onboarding, as I mentioned last week, and building trust with clients and contractors and whatnot, I really keen on communicating well within the team. So I use Zoom a lot and Slack a lot. I'm one of the first people to say, if I'm slacking with somebody, hey, let's go open up a Zoom talk. I'd rather talk to someone on my team over video because I feel like I get more than just text-based conversations. I want to see them. I want to have a conversation. We sometimes go into tangents. We just talk about life, but that's fine with me. I'm okay with that, spending the time for that. So I use Zoom and Slack quite a bit. Matter of fact, I actually pay for Zoom at this point because I have longer than 45-minute calls with people, and I also have more than one person at a time many times. So I do pay for that. So number 6 is a service I use to grab screen grabs and share them really quickly. It's called CloudUp. This is owned by Automatic, and it's not currently being developed, or I guess it's being maintained to some extent, and it's invitation only, and I don't know how you get an invitation anymore. I tried to find it for you, but I couldn't find a link for that. So it's over at cloudup.com. I guess you can put your email in, and when they open it up, you might get an email for that. So number 7 is VS Code, Visual Studio Code by Microsoft. So I used to use Sublime Text a lot. I was using Sublime Text version 2 for the longest time, loved it, it was great. And then one day I was trying to upgrade it to version 3 for some odd reason. Oh, I know. I was going to try to learn some Python to help my son with his class, and they were running Sublime Text 3 in the tutorial I was watching. And in doing that, I messed up my Sublime Text. My license went away, and I couldn't find proof of receipt of my license. I'm not sure. I mean, I know I bought it or I had it somehow, but the upgrade fee, I didn't feel like I had to go that route anymore. So I'm like, you know what? I'll go to VS Code. People talk about it. They like it. It looks pretty cool. It opens up any file. I love the fact that there's a live editor in there. I mean, I can share my screen with another developer. It's pretty darn cool. A lot of customizations you can do there. So I'm using VS Code right now. Yeah, so that's cool there. Number 8, podcasting related. So about like this show, for example, I use Soundboard. It's one of the things I use every week. It's by Ambrosia Software. It works just fine currently. I'm not sure it's going to work moving forward when I upgrade my next computer because of the 64-bit issue. And so that's, I'm concerned there. When I'm doing the other show, Get Options Podcast, I use an app called BossJock, which is now called Backpack Studio. And the reason the difference is, and what these both do, by the way, they're used for my sound effects, for my bumpers, etc., the opening and closing sound effects, that kind of thing. BossJock Studio is an iOS app, and I have it on the iPad mini because that way I tie that in so then Kyle Maurer can hear sound effects, and as a secondary source. So it's called a loop back system. And that said, I might be switching all this up sometime this year. I might go all digital and get rid of the mixer and the recorder. We'll see. I'm looking at some other options about revamping my podcasting setup in studio. And if you want to know more about that, let me know. That'd be great. So there's that. And last but not least, Omnifocus. I've mentioned this in the past, I believe. This is how I track my things digitally, as I've moved all my client projects to Asana, because that way I can share them with the team and even invite the clients in to track and watch along. So I do that in a digital format using Omnifocus. Productivity, I still use the productivity planner for the analog version. I like to write things down and cross things off, so I use both of those. So there you have it. There's my list of the things I currently use this last year, 2 years now, but it's 2020, consistently using these things every day, just about every day. The only thing I may not use every day, well, not every day, every week. How about that? I don't use podcasting stuff every day. I do that, a couple times a week, but you get the gist. Anyway, there you have it. If you want to know more about any other tools, you want to know more about these tools that I use, let me know. Send me an email. There's links to all this in the show notes as well. All right, moving on. Segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This week is a website, thanks to, unfortunately, a friend of mine's site. His content was taken, reproduced without his permission, and they found it by the service called CopyScape.com. It's a place you can put in your URL and see if anyone else has your same content that you may have complete rights to. So check that out. It's over at CopyScape.com. All right. That is it at this show. If you have any questions, go ahead and send it in, adam@KitchensinkWP.com. Use the speak pipe function on the website. If you want to support the show, you can become a Patreon. You can also sponsor the show. There's a page on the website for that as well. Thanks for listening. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. See you next week. Bye-bye. Oh, hey, a quick PS. For those of you who follow me over on Twitter at my personal account, HeyAdamSilver, I tweeted back about a week or two ago about a dream I had with Nicolas Cage. Short version, that he's a fan of my show, that he listens to this show, which I think is kind of funny. It's silly, I get it. But then I put that on Twitter, and I got this sent to me randomly. It's kind of weird, so take a listen.
Hey, this is Nicolas Cage. You're listening to Kitchen Sink with Adam Silver. I could eat a peach for hours. Ha ha!
Now, I'm pretty sure it's not Nick Cage. I think it's my buddy from my workout group. But if anyone knows Nick Cage and they want to get him on my show, I would love that. If you can refer him to me, that'd be fantastic. So, all right, that's all. Talk to you later. Bye.